often been asked the question as to why I do the things I do. The question is simple, so I respond with a simple answer. After midnight, the moon set, and I was alone with the stars. I have often said that the lure of flying is the lure of beauty, and I need no flight to convince me that the reason flowers fly, whether they know it or not, is the aesthetic appeal of flying. The year is 1932, and I'm sure that this year means a great deal to all of you, as it certainly does to me. Oh, do you think that because that was the year I crossed the Atlantic, being the first woman to do so? Well, maybe in part. But my ambition is to have this wonderful gift, produce practical results for the future of flying, and for the women who want to fly tomorrow's planes. Yes, you heard me correctly, for the women who want to fly tomorrow's planes. But of course, I was so happy that Herbert Hoover got to be elected President of the United States. Him being an engineer and businessman, he knows how important flying is to business. Now, please, don't get me wrong. I like Alex Smith, who was running against Herbert, and him being the first Catholic to run for a major political office really had no concern to me. While I am less interested in religion, being raised as an Episcopal, I'm more interested in what a man or woman can do than what he or she is. You may even wonder if education was even important to me while I was too busy with my head in the clouds. You may want to know, it was education that helped me realize my passion for aviation. While I was working in a military hospital during World War I, after my first semester of college, I actually met aviators there to help me to develop my lifelong passion for flying. I lay no claim to advancing scientific data other than advancing flying knowledge. I only say I do it because I want to. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Purdue University, where I served as an aviator consultant and a counselor for the career of women, will present to me a Lockheed Electra so advanced that I would call it the flying lavatory. With this, I'll be able to fulfill my ambition to fly around the world. And it all began right here. My pilot's license. Did you know only 16 women in the world has received their pilot's license? And I got to be one of them. I received mine in 1923, which led me to purchasing my first airplane. I called it the Canary because I painted it bright yellow. With the Canary, I was able to go the highest altitude of a wing, reaching 14,000 feet up in the air. I was very proud of my accomplishment. With that, it led me on to my first transatlantic flight in 1928. I had rode this flight with two men, Stoles and Gordon. I wanted to pilot this flight, but instead I was the ledger. But even though I did not pilot this flight, I was so very grateful to be on it. All of this led me up to my second transatlantic solo flight in 1932. These two pictures right here were soon after I got off Little Red Bus. Oh yes, that was the plane that I took across my solo transatlantic flight. I began in Canada and ended in Northern Ireland. When I ended in Northern Ireland, I didn't quite exactly know where I was, and so I asked a farmer nearby, "Where am I?" He replied with, "In Gallagher's pasture." This picture right here, really, it tells 1,000 words. You can see how I was so happy and thrilled to have accomplished my dream and my goal that I had been wanting to go on. But I have to tell you, I was so exhausted because of all the trials I encountered throughout my journey, such as a fuel leak, and my exhaust manifold was damaged. I had extremely bad weather, and my altimeter failed on me. overcome those trials and go throughout my adventure. After returning back to the United States, U.S. Congress presented me a medal. It was called Distinguished Flying Cross. A handful of people earned this medal. And guess who's one of them? Charles Lindbergh. He was the first person to have crossed the Atlantic. Actually, 5 years to the day before I did. Everybody said him and I looked a lot alike. As I sit here today, I'm very optimistic about the future. Even though our economy is in the midst of the Great Depression, we are encountering hard times before us, and not everybody is kind to me. People have publicly stated, and newspapers have written editorials that I should spend my time in better ways. I don't even worry. Worry retards reactions and makes clear-cut decisions impossible. With that, so then, why do I do the things I do? Because when we explore new horizons, we encounter the beauty of the earth that surrounds us, which we then can exchange with other people, thus lifting them to new heights. With that, I leave you words of wisdom from the first woman to have crossed the Atlantic solo. Never do things others can and will do, if there are things others cannot and will not do. Amelia Earhart signing off.